Welcome to the debate. Just imagine trying to build a global business back in, say, 1995,
Oh, it was a completely different world.
right? You needed physical servers, massive office space, and just years of accumulated capital just to get off the ground.
Yeah, there was a profound physical friction to adopting new technology. You basically had to lay the tracks before you could ever run the train.
Exactly. But today, those tracks have just vanished. All a small business really needs now is a $20 monthly subscription and a decent internet connection.
Which is incredible, but also deeply complicated.
Very. And that brings us to our focus for today. We are going to analyze the rapid adoption of AI by modern small businesses. Specifically, based on comprehensive transaction data and workforce analysis, we're looking at this unprecedented surge in AI usage.
Right. And the core of this debate is about productivity versus risk. Are we looking at a pure engine for technological productivity, or is this a deeply structural risk to the workforce?
Exactly, and I take the position that this rapid diffusion of AI democratizes access to productivity tools. It unlocks latent market demand and fundamentally augments human work rather than, destroying it.
And I take the contrasting view. The sheer unprecedented speed of this adoption, especially when you combine it with the reality of capped demand in many sectors, it introduces severe structural risks.
You're talking about job losses.
I'm talking about the permanent substitution of certain roles, and maybe even more critically, a very dangerous elimination of the entry-level pathways that professionals use to gain actual experience.
Well, to really grasp the scale of what we're debating here, we have to ground this in the numbers. We aren't just talking about surveys where business owners say what they might do next year.
Right. Intentions don't mean much in this economy.
Exactly. We are looking at a phenomenal data set from Chase Business Banking. This is de-identified actual transaction data covering 4.6 million small business firms from 2019 through 2025.
It's a massive sample size.
Huge. We are tracking the actual money leaving their accounts to pay for AI services. And what that data shows is just an explosion of technological productivity that completely defies historical comparison.
The numbers are staggering. I will absolutely concede that right out of the gate. Staggering is definitely the right word.
If you look at the cohort of businesses founded in 2019, it took them 77 months, so over 6 years, to reach a 10% AI adoption rate. Now, you look at the cohort of businesses founded in 2025, they hit that exact same 10% adoption milestone in just 6 months.
Right.
That is a 13-fold acceleration in technological diffusion. And the mechanism driving this is just crucial here. It's cloud-based platforms and low-cost subscription models. They have entirely bypassed the massive capital expenditures that past technologies required.
Like on-premise software or early personal computers.
Yeah, the financial barrier to entry has effectively dropped to zero.
Precisely.
I don't disagree that the speed is historic. But you have to see that this unprecedented speed is exactly the catalyst for the workforce risk I'm talking about.
How so? Because it's too fast?
Yes. Think about how labor markets actually function. If a technology takes a decade to deploy across the economy, the workforce has 10 years to absorb that shock.
Sure.
The education system can pivot, workers can retrain, and capital can slowly shift to new industries. 6 months? 6 months offers absolutely no buffer.
But does it need a buffer if the technology is fundamentally enabling rather than destructive?
It is destructive to certain segments, which is exactly why the speed is alarming. Furthermore, this isn't just businesses playing around with ChatGPT anymore to write a funny poem.
No, they're using it for real workflows.
Right. The rapid adoption is shifting from sporadic experimentation directly into embedded infrastructure. If you look at that same Chase data, there's a metric tracking the ratio of consistent AI users to sporadic users.
I remember that chart. It dipped slightly around 2022, right?
Yeah, it dipped right when the new generative models came out and everyone was just testing the waters. But by 2025, that ratio rebounded sharply to nearly 1.8.
Meaning for every one business just dabbling, nearly 2 are paying for these tools consistently, month over month.
Exactly. They have baked AI into their operational infrastructure. It is no longer a novelty. It is a load-bearing pillar of their daily workflow now.
Okay, but
And when you embed efficiency at that kind of speed into a market where demand is bounded, it directly translates to job losses.
I hear your point on the speed of integration, I really do, but I look at that deep integration and I see something completely different.
Okay, what do you see?
I see the classic economic principle of the Jevons paradox playing out in real time.
The Jevons paradox?
Yes, historically, when you dramatically lower the cost of delivering a product through efficiency, whether it was, coal in the 19th century or computing power in the 20th, you don't actually end up needing fewer workers.
Right, because usage goes up.
Exactly. The lower costs unlock unmet latent demand. Accessibility increases, so usage skyrockets. In this framework, AI makes small businesses so vastly more efficient that they can lower prices, improve their service quality, and capture market share they previously just couldn't afford to reach.
And you think that creates jobs?
I do. It drives employment stability and, in a lot of cases, actual growth.
I understand the theory, but we have to look at the mechanical reality of small businesses here. The Jevons paradox only functions when demand is highly expandable, or, practically infinite.
Right.
But what happens when demand is firmly bounded?
Give me an example of what you mean by bounded.
Take a local dental clinic, or a regional logistics dispatcher. If you're operating in a market with finite local demand, and your new AI scheduling and customer service tools make your front office 30% more efficient,
You can handle more patients.
no, you don't spontaneously generate 30% more local teeth to clean. You simply require fewer humans to service your existing patient base.
Well,
You aren't unlocking new markets in that scenario. You're just servicing the current market with less labor. And this brings us directly to what workforce analysts are seeing with substituted roles, which currently affect an estimated 12% of the job market.
and you're defining substituted roles as positions that are just outright replaced, like totally gone?
Completely absorbed by the technology. Take a call center representative or a baseline financial analyst. Their work is highly structured.
Sure, it's heavily process-driven.
Right. A call center rep resolves inquiries within established workflows. It's account lookups, scripted troubleshooting, processing returns. When a small business integrates an AI agent that can reliably handle those repeatable inquiries end to end, they don't suddenly receive more customer complaints to balance out the new efficiency.
Hopefully not.
Exactly. They just need fewer reps on the payroll. The efficiency translates to immediate job losses and heavy downward wage pressure for the reps who actually manage to keep their jobs.
Okay, I see why you look at it that way, but I think the narrative of outright job substitution misses a massive shift in how daily work is actually being redesigned on the ground.
How so?
If we dig deeper into how these small businesses are utilizing these tools, we see they aren't just buying one tool to replace one worker. The data shows they are aggressively diversifying their tech stacks.
Meaning they're using more than one AI?
Exactly. In 2019, 89% of adopting firms used only a single AI service, which was mostly just basic marketing automation. But by 2025, that dropped to 72%.
Okay.
More importantly, the number of firms using 3 or more distinct AI tools jumped from under 1% to 9%.
But wait, stacking 3 different AI services on top of each other just systematically strips away even more daily tasks from the human workforce.
It strips away the routine mechanical friction, yes, but that is exactly what allows the role to evolve into something much more valuable. We call these rebalanced roles, and they make up about 14% of the job market.
Okay, walk me through a rebalanced role.
Let's break down the mechanism. Take a copywriter at a small marketing firm. Yes, local demand might be bounded by the company's client roster, but today, brand presence is incredibly fragmented.
Sure, there are a million platforms.
Right. A business doesn't just need one magazine ad anymore, they need highly targeted content delivered across a dozen different digital platforms, and it has to be constantly updated.
So the AI just writes the copy for all those platforms?
The AI drafts the baseline copy, sure, but it also handles the A/B testing variations for Instagram. It formats the email newsletter, it optimizes the SEO tags.
Which used to be the junior copywriter's job.
Exactly. But because the AI absorbs all that rote mechanical execution, the junior copywriter doesn't get fired. Their cognitive load is freed up, and the role expands.
I'm skeptical.
They transition from being a simple word generator into an omni-channel specialist. They manage complex campaigns, they analyze the performance data, and they direct the AI's strategy.
Okay.
We see the exact same mechanism in academic and institutional research. The AI handles the routine data aggregation, which dramatically increases the human's capacity for hypothesis formation and scholarly judgment. The value of the human shifts up the cognitive ladder.
Look, I'm all for shifting up the cognitive ladder, but you are ignoring the brutal financial reality of small business margins here.
Am I? The data shows they're investing heavily.
But diversifying tools across a small business speeds up the scale of impact in a very dangerous way. We are looking at 10 to 15% of all jobs being vulnerable to absolute elimination.
I think that's an overstatement.
The mechanism driving this is cost. Newer cohorts of small businesses are starting their AI adoption at incredibly low spending levels because these entry-level services are so remarkably cheap.
Right, because it's democratized. It's affordable for everyone now.
It's so affordable that the financial barrier to replacing a human worker has practically vanished. Think about it. If you are a small business owner listening to this, and you can pay a $20 monthly subscription for a multimodal AI agent, an agent that handles your first-line customer service, manages your calendar, and does your basic bookkeeping, you are not going to hire a junior administrative assistant.
Well, you might hire them to do higher-level tasks.
You aren't going to rebalance a non-existent employee. The economics dictate elimination over rebalancing when margins are that tight.
But if we look at history, though, people made this exact same pessimistic argument about software engineering tools.
Software engineering is different.
Is it? Over the last decade, we have introduced massive automation into code generation, bug testing, and deployment. GitHub Copilot and similar tools are ubiquitous.
Right.
But if an AI tool helps a developer write code 10 times faster, the tech company doesn't fire 9 developers. They just build 10 times more software.
But software is a purely digital good. It's the ultimate example of unbounded demand. That doesn't apply to a local bakery or an HVAC company.
It's an example of how human-machine interaction actually works in practice. Even after the massive disruption of generative models in 2022, software engineering headcount across the industry actually grew.
Okay, but why?
Because while AI accelerates the generation of standard code blocks, it completely fails at system-level judgment. It can't intuitively understand abstract business needs and architect a bespoke technical solution.
Fine.
The work cannot be cleanly divided between the machine and the engineer. It is an ongoing symbiotic interaction. Small businesses will follow this model. They won't use AI to shrink their payroll. They will use it to scale their output to levels previously reserved for large enterprises.
I still say software engineering is an outlier here. Let's look at the broader economy, specifically what analysts call divergent roles, which account for another 12% of the workforce.
Okay, divergent roles.
This is where the true structural tension lies. And honestly, it represents a massive crisis for the entry-level pipeline. Take an insurance sales agent or an IT support technician.
Wait, let me stop you there. I'm actually struggling with this insurance example. If the AI is doing all the basic quoting and lead qualification, isn't that a good thing?
Not for the junior employee.
But we want the junior employee out of that mind-numbing data entry. Why does that automatically mean they are out of a job, instead of just doing more valuable advisory work?
Because that mind-numbing data entry is precisely how they learn the business. That is the mechanism of professional development. AI perfectly automates the bottom rung of the ladder.
But they can learn faster if they aren't bogged down in spreadsheets.
For insurance, AI automates quote generation and policy comparisons for standard auto insurance. For IT, it automates the routine Tier 1 help desk tickets. Password resets, basic diagnostic checks.
Right.
But how do you get a senior insurance advisor who understands complex commercial liabilities? How do you get a senior IT systems architect who intuitively understands all the weird quirks of a legacy network?
Through training and education programs, mentorship?
No. They get there by spending 3 to 5 years doing those exact routine tasks. The contextual judgment, the intuition, the ability to handle edge cases at the senior level, all of that is built through the entry-level on-the-job experience.
I mean, I see the logic, but...
You learn by seeing the same routine problems 1,000 times until you understand the underlying architecture of the business. If a small business adopts AI to eliminate all those junior positions because the AI is cheaper, they are literally sawing off the bottom rungs of the career ladder. Where will your senior workers come from in 10 years if no one is allowed to be a beginner today?
Okay, I see the risk you're pointing to with the training pipeline. That is a very real structural challenge. But I would frame the outcome differently.
How? You can't just skip the learning phase.
I don't believe the ladder is being sawed off. I believe the baseline is simply being elevated. Let's stick with your IT technician example.
Okay.
When AI handles all those routine Tier 1 tickets, the digital infrastructure of that small business naturally grows more complex. Why? Because they can now afford to adopt more advanced SaaS products and integrations.
Sure.
That actively increases the need for advanced troubleshooting.
But the junior IT guy isn't ready for advanced troubleshooting. He hasn't done the basics yet.
He is ready if the nature of entry-level work fundamentally shifts from rote memorization to systems management. The entry-level worker isn't eliminated. They are hired to oversee and manage the AI systems that diagnose the tickets.
That's a huge leap in expectations.
We see this in the insurance market too. By significantly lowering the cost of distribution and servicing, AI allows small insurers to reach previously underserved demographics.
You mean smaller commercial clients?
Exactly. There is massive latent demand among modern small businesses that remain dangerously underinsured because they just couldn't afford complex commercial policies before. AI lowers the cost to serve them, which unlocks that market participation.
So you're saying the job just changes?
Right. So yes, the routine auto quote roles decline, but the workforce shifts toward higher value advisory roles. The pipeline isn't broken. The entry-level worker simply starts their career augmented by AI, acting as a sort of junior strategist rather than a human calculator.
Starting a career as a junior strategist requires a baseline of training, mentorship, and education that our current labor market is completely unprepared to provide.
It will adapt.
The friction of that transition is going to leave a lot of people behind. But let's move to the areas where I think we actually find some agreement, where the technology hits a hard limit. There remains an untouchable human element in the workforce.
Absolutely. Even with this unprecedented 13-fold acceleration in adoption speeds, the data indicates that 50 to 55% of all jobs will merely be reshaped, not eliminated.
Which is a relief.
It is. This includes what we categorize as enabled roles, making up about 23% of jobs. These are positions where AI becomes deeply embedded in day-to-day activities to improve efficiency and accuracy, but the core responsibilities absolutely mandate a physical human presence.
Yeah, physical interaction is the ultimate moat against automation right now.
Exactly. Clinical assistants and lab technicians are perfect examples. A clinical assistant can use AI for real-time ambient note-taking during a patient intake. A lab technician can use an AI overlay to flag microscopic anomalies in a blood sample much faster. But the AI cannot physically draw the blood.
Obviously not.
It cannot comfort the patient, and it cannot make the final legally binding diagnostic call. In these roles, the technology is a baseline capability. It fundamentally augments the human. It doesn't replace them.
I completely agree that physical presence provides a strong moat. And we can also add limited exposure roles to that list, which account for about 34% of current jobs.
Right, those are the relationship-heavy ones.
Exactly. These are highly contextual, relationship-driven professions like physicians, therapists, and teachers. An AI might help a teacher grade multiple choice tests in seconds, but it cannot read the emotional state of a struggling third grader.
No, it definitely can't do that.
It can't adapt a lesson plan in real time based on a child's frustration. The core of instruction and patient care remains fundamentally human. But let's go back to your point about those enabled roles, the lab techs and clinical assistants. I want to look at the psychological reality of what you're proposing.
The psychological reality? What do you mean?
Workforce analysts call this uncompensated cognitive burden. In plain English, you're asking a lab tech to suddenly act as a software manager and a data analyst without giving them a pay raise or paid time off to train.
But they are getting better tools to do their jobs more efficiently. It makes their day easier in the long run.
Better tools require continuous adaptation. Small businesses are operating on razor-thin margins. When they deploy a new diagnostic AI for that lab technician, they rarely increase the technician's salary for learning a new skill.
Well, budgets are tight.
And they certainly don't offer paid sabbaticals for training. The expectation from management is simply that the worker must now operate complex AI dashboards, interpret probabilistic data outputs, and maintain all their traditional physical duties.
They're just working smarter.
And because the AI supposedly makes them faster, their daily quotas go up. Small businesses are pushing the entire cost and friction of technological adaptation directly onto the employees. The worker is forced into a state of continuous, stressful upskilling just to tread water in the exact same job.
I'll give you that. The expectation of instant productivity can create a real pressure cooker environment.
It's exhausting.
But I think you are underestimating the adaptability of the modern workforce and, crucially, the intuitiveness of the tools themselves.
They still have to learn them.
Sure, but we aren't asking lab technicians to learn Python or write command line code here. Modern generative interfaces use natural language. You talk to them the exact same way we are talking right now. The friction to learn these tools is lower than any major technology in human history.
Intuitive interfaces do not negate the structural realities of bounded demand and quota increases. You still have to do more work for the same pay.
But they do lower the barrier to mastery. When we look back at the Chase data and see the sheer volume of small firms adopting multiple tools so rapidly, it tells us that these systems are working.
For the business owners, yes.
For the economy, the transaction data proves we are living through a historic, frictionless diffusion of technology. It is expanding output, it's unlocking latent demand across industries, and empowering small businesses to compete at a level of sophistication previously reserved for Fortune 500 enterprises.
Look, while the technology is undeniably powerful, the rapid transition from sporadic experimentation to embedded infrastructure guarantees severe workforce friction. We just have to face the data. Permanent job substitution is a reality for about 12% of roles where demand is capped.
That's if the roles don't evolve.
More critically, we are walking blindly into a crisis regarding those divergent roles. By automating the foundational tasks of junior employees, we are severing the critical training pathways required to develop the next generation of senior professionals.
Well, this is where I think we ultimately find some convergence in this debate. We both look at the data and agree on the scope of the transition.
We do.
The data is clear that 10 to 15% of roles face immediate elimination risk, and that adoption is permanently accelerating.
Yes, we agree on the raw numbers. And I think we also agree that transitioning those displaced workers into the emerging complex roles is not going to happen automatically by the invisible hand of the market.
No, it definitely won't.
It demands massive, targeted reskilling, time, coordination, and investment from both the public and private sectors. The education system has to fundamentally rewire how we prepare people for the workforce.
It is a profound structural shift. It's not just that things are moving faster. Think about the transition from dial-up internet to broadband.
A classic example.
When broadband arrived, it didn't just make loading a static web page quicker. It fundamentally created entirely new business models. Streaming video, cloud software, real-time global collaboration. None of that could exist on the old infrastructure.
Right.
We are essentially in the broadband moment for cognitive work.
But let's not forget that the shift to broadband also permanently obliterated the old business models. Video rental stores didn't get rebalanced, they just disappeared. The new infrastructure always claims a toll.
And that is the ultimate tension we are navigating today. If you're listening to this, whether you're a small business owner, an entry-level worker, or a senior manager, we highly suggest you explore the nuances of your own industry's exposure in the source material.
Absolutely. Look at the data for your specific field.
The ultimate verdict on whether this rapid AI adoption brings your specific sector more unprecedented productivity or more structural risk will depend entirely on how you manage the transition.
Thank you for joining us.